knitters. I've had a few people tell me that they're not sure the best way to bind off linen stitch, so I thought I'd make a video and show you how I do it. I like this bind off because it doesn't stretch or pull. It's nice and even, and it gives a really nice finished edge. Before we start, I am using Crafter's Secret cotton, and this is number 126 Caribbean for anybody who really likes this color and wants to know where to get it. Linen stitch is one of my favorite stitches. I do it for washcloths all the time. If you've never used linen stitch and you'd like to learn how to do it, I'll put a link in the comments to another video about how to do linen stitch. But if you remember, when you're working across the right side, and I like to bind off across the right side, you've got a stitch that needs to be knitted, and then one that's slipped, and then one that's knitted, and one that's slipped. And that's how you work across. And we're going to bind off basically just doing another row of front row right side linen stitch. So I'm going to knit that first stitch just like I normally would and take it off. Then I'm going to bring the yarn in front and slip the next stitch, just like I would normally do the first two stitches on the right side of linen stitch. Then I'm going to bring that knit stitch over and bind one off. Now the next one is supposed to be knitted, so I'm going to knit it and then bind off. The next one would be a slipped stitch, so I'm going to bring the yarn in front again, slip that one, bring the yarn back, and bind off one. The tricky part is just to remember whether you're supposed to knit or slip, but you can see if you slipped on the last row, and you can see that you carried there, if you slipped on the last row, then you're going to knit on this one. So I'm going to knit one, bind off, and then bring the yarn in front and slip the next one, bring the yarn back, and then bind off. And I'm going to do that all the way across. So knit one, bind off. Next one is a slip, so I bring the yarn in front, slip it, bring the yarn back again, and bind it off. Knit, bind off, bring the yarn in front, slip, put the yarn in back, bind off. Oops, this one's a slip stitch. Almost knit it. Yarn in front, slip it, yarn in back, bind it off. If you do make a mistake and you slip one that you were supposed to knit or knit one that you were supposed to slip, it really won't make much difference. You won't see it too much. And then knit one, bind it off, slip the last one, bind it off, and then I would just go yarn over and pull it through. Easier said than done there to finish that off. But now you can see you have a really nice top on that. It looks very similar to the rest of it. If you are using a variegated yarn, you can kind of see it makes a because of the slips, you'll have a color change. It almost looks like light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, which is kind of pretty, kind of fun. So that's how you bind off, or how I bind off linen stitch. Again, I'll put a link in the information below if you'd like to see how to do linen stitch in either 1, 2, or 3 colors. But I hope that's helpful, and I hope you enjoy linen stitch as much as I do.